It's the Great Northern Sexcast. Kelly Guest and Colleen Bertino. Hey, Colleen.
Good morning.
It's been a busy one.
Oh, so far so good. At least we're keeping a little bit warm.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely frozen up here, and a good time to be listening to the Great Northern Sexcast. Don't know what you're doing right now, but you could plan something to do to stay warm for later once you hear what we have to say today.
Oh, I would certainly hope so. Wait, build up a little passion and some heat.
No kidding. Hey, you said that there is an LA show going on right now, and you've got a buyer on the loose. Tell me what's going on.
Well, I got some emails. I got some text from her. Tara is out in LA right now. This is a manufacturer show or a founder show.
Okay.
Companies like Topco, Pipe Dream, some of the larger manufacturers.
Tell us what they are.
Okay. I just assume. I forget.
Right.
Not everyone's been doing this for 35 years. Pardon me. No, they make the sex toys.
Okay.
They make the vibrators. They make the bondage items. They make the dildos. They make the lubricants. Mm-hmm. And they realized that they were tired of being sort of secondary at the CES show. Oh. That used to be a part. That used to be where we used to go to the CES show in January and check it out.
The Consumer Electronics Show, which I could make an argument that these are electronic.
Yeah. But they decided they needed to be on their own, sort of to be their own venue, not the sideshow for everything else.
Sure.
Because believe me, it was a sideshow.
Yeah.
No, but so like I said, right now this is the founder show, and we buy directly from the majority of the companies there. My dad set up great, what's the word I want?
Relationships?
There we go.
You got it. I'm here to help.
More coffee, please. We set up great relationships years ago, and so there were a few companies that we don't buy direct from or don't have a really good deal with. So we'll go to the show because we buy direct from it, and that's when we find out about what's new, what they're going to be doing. And this isn't the only one. There's smaller shows that distributors have. There's another show in Los Angeles. There's the AVN, that's the Adult Video News, has their own show and award ceremony. So there's plenty of things you can go to, and that's not even counting the lingerie shows.
Oh, okay.
And some of the distributors go to that. But like I said, we buy direct, so we just go where the major manufacturing companies are.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So this one's out in LA. I would imagine this is probably a pretty big one.
It is. It's the one that we, like I said, I don't like to waste our times with the distributors if we don't have to. We just want to go to the manufacturer.
Yeah.
And so there are 2 of these a year. And what they're saying is that they're always upgrading. I'm so glad that I don't do the buying anymore. It used to be about a 30-page catalog, and now they are, okay, if you're younger, you may not understand this, but now they're like phone book size.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to have to find something that, someone under the age of, 30 is going to recognize to use as a description anymore. But there are so many products. I'm glad I don't have to make decisions no more carrying anymore.
Well, I'm trying to figure out if they do this. Basically, this one you said happens twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is going to sound like a stupid question, but what on earth could possibly be new? I mean, hasn't all this stuff pretty much been thought up already?
Well, what they end up doing is sort of improving on what they have. There'll be better materials. They'll different grades of silicone, different grades of blends. They'll do better motors. They'll make an item waterproof. They'll make an item that has dual motors instead of one motor. Well, it's more fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. More things moving.
Yeah.
They'll create new, Kama Sutra will bring out new flavors. Or a company called System Joe is coming out with like a new body line, more boutique-y. Or, they expand in that way.
A body line of?
Well, like massage products or massage oils, lubricants, because there's not just, there are so many lubricants.
Yeah.
And so this is a way to go, figure out, what's going to work for your company. And there's also a lot of different packaging. My store is going to carry something that is very different from a store in the South or a store out East. There's just different packaging appeals to different people.
Okay.
Some of these companies even sell to larger stores, and they just need more generic packaging.
Okay. And see, just an interesting note, too, on the fact that with regard to what kind of packaging would appeal to a different part of the country, Colleen, I think it's kind of interesting that you guys at Fantasy Gifts has 2 stores in New Jersey, is it?
Yes, 2.
So how much communication goes back and forth between you guys about similarities and differences in your customer bases?
Well, when my mom goes to visit New Jersey, she always comes back and says, "You've got to carry this, you've got to carry this." And we look at it, and a lot of the times we'll get it in, and now she does the same thing as, Minnesota's carrying this. But we have very different buying populations. They're in South Jersey. They have more female customers than we do. We have a much more broad range of customers in our stores.
Okay.
And it's fascinating what sells there. They do better with lacy G-strings, and we do better with lacy boy shorts.
Okay.
They do better with more brand named items than we will, and they also do a pretty decent business in the standard, like a teddy.
Okay.
I mean, that's not as popular for us. We sell more movies than they do.
Okay.
I mean, they're just I sell different stuff from the Coon Rapids store than I do from the Burnsville store, and they're only about 25 miles apart.
Yeah, isn't that just so interesting? Like how a suburb, I mean, even two suburbs could be so different in that kind of an appetite / appeal.
Yeah, I joke that if I could figure out exactly what the buying patterns are, I could just sell that information.
Right?
I could have a whole separate business.
Yeah. No, I mean, that is a really interesting angle to this. And here, you said something a second ago that makes me laugh, because while I have been in your stores before, the first time was quite some time, years and years ago, when I was still married to my ex, and we were in Bloomington. And he said, "Let's go in here." And I was like, oh, and I walked in, I'm like, wow, what a nice place. That was my first, reaction to it. But even though I've visited and been a customer of yours occasionally throughout the years, I can't say that I'm familiar enough with anything to say I would recognize a brand name. So how is it that some of the customers, how do they learn this stuff?
Well, a lot of things, or for example, California Exotic Novelties they'll advertise in Cosmo stuff, larger companies, and so people come in now. They'll advertise online. A company called Sport Sheets is doing quite well. They're a family company too. It's a brother sister folks that put together this company, and they sell a lot of the light bondage stuff. And they've been going nuts since the 50 Shades stuff came out.
Really?
Yeah. They're bringing, so that's how, they will do a lot of online, a lot of YouTube videos, that sort of stuff, and it gets passed around, because it's not like they're putting in the article in the local Star Tribune.
Okay.
But it would be Cosmo, it'd be the women's magazines, it'd be the men's magazines. Folks will take out time on other larger folks like Howard Stern.
Okay,
yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So, I am curious though, with regard to the idea, and why would your business be any different than any other, with new products coming out and trying to innovate and all that kind of stuff? But how often, Colleen, do you guys really ever see something truly unique and new?
A few times a year.
Really?
There was a company when a couple years ago, and a company came out and they realized that not everything has to be, if it's a vibrator, has to be penis shaped.
Okay.
Yes, it's long and thin, and it has, but it doesn't have to look like a phallus. So there was a company called Lalo and We Vibe and Topco and Pipe Dream, California Exotic, Doc Johnson. They all started coming out with much more boutique looking or smooth vibrators.
Okay.
And it just really, they were not threatening. They had better motors. They were waterproof. And then a few years later, they all came out with rechargeable. People, so you're not worrying about batteries. You're not worrying about, something not working during that, time. And then they improved battery, and then they improved recharging life. And then they added waterproof. And this is what, people, just like you want a better phone, you want a better vibrator.
Okay, so it's really kind of like the iVibe 6, or something like that.
They are bringing out new ones. And then this most recent show, oh, there's a tongue twister for you.
I like it.
It is all about 50 Shades inspired and anal toys. These were, the book's been out for a while, but the movie's coming out, and everyone is having a light bondage line. Everyone's bringing out new butt plugs. And in fact, the email I got was I just sort of glanced
From
at
Tara?
it. From Tara, yeah.
At the show,
Was,
okay.
Yeah, Tara at the show, just this morning, was that there's lots of new butt plugs. And then she said, sparkly, glow in the dark. And I'm just... and I'm like... Sparkly butt plugs. So I'll look forward to probably sometime mid-year. Because they show them. They're sometimes not production yet. Sometimes they want to see, what's the interest. But years ago, we sold a big red glitter dick, so I can't imagine that a sparkly butt plug would not go.
I do like my bling.
Yeah.
I mean... I don't know.
Why not bling out your butt plug?
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
And all different size. And there's, they go from really tiny ones, and then there's Doc Johnson makes a line called American Bombshell. And they even made one, I guess, that looks like a hand grenade. So the Bombshell line has sold well for us. It's huge. We have it online. You can poke around and take a look at it. Do
you have some camo crotchless panties that go with that?
I know we have some camo lingerie.
Okay.
Whether or not they're crotchless or not.
Get the whole package.
Yeah. But that's always, and those have been number one sellers for 35 years.
No kidding.
Yeah. There's cycles to everything, more or less. Right now we're in a huge... whether or not people are more willing to talk about it because of the movie, or whether but we always sold a lot of bondage stuff.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that too. I want to talk about that kind of in the next segment a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll kind of put a pause on bondage for a minute, but you just. Let's just put that on hold.
Did we safe word? We'll pause on that? Okay.
Just safe word. Yeah. So, no, I want to know, like you just mentioned about trends and all of that. How often would you say that things do shift? And what are some of the indicators? I mean, how do you feel it right away in the store? It's like all of a sudden nobody's interested in butt plugs this week. Or I don't know. How does that work? How do you guys gauge that stuff?
It really is customer request. We'll start getting people are asking about this. And then I immediately go to Google and go, was there an article somewhere? Did someone mention it did it happen in a TV show? That's when we find out. A lot of times it will be industry driven. I mean, if they're going to create a whole new line of let's say housewives inspired toys, that's sort of big out there, and we're going to know about it.
Okay.
But a lot of times it really is customer request, and I feel like I have to admit, I feel like I'm catching up sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's how that's how we started. Customers asked, and my dad said yes.
Okay.
I'll find it. Whatever it is. He didn't know what it was. He just found it.
That's hilarious. Mm-hmm. And, just in case this is your first time listening to the Great Northern Sexcast, we are once again broadcasting from the Fantasy Gifts headquarters, deep buried in Edina, and you have to have this very modest sign according to the local ordinance, correct?
Oh, well, just the person who saw, I'm not sure what Edina says, but I do know that the folks were sort of weirded out selling it to us, the building, and we'd agreed to not put our name on the building. And I'm like, whatever.
Okay.
I just there are just so many other things to deal with.
Right. Just, yeah.
And the building was a really good deal. Sometimes I just, this is not a thing, choose your battles with a toddler or dumb rules.
Yeah. Dumb rule. No, and this is just a super fun place actually to visit and go exploring, if you will. I've had the pleasure of getting to do that. One of the things I want to know, Colleen, though, is do these trends, I know obviously probably like any regular retail institution, you guys obviously stock up in a certain way for Christmas, but how else do you determine seasonal trends in this industry?
When you're taking a look at, let's say, Valentine's, you're taking a look at Valentine's in September.
Oh, yeah, true, I suppose, yeah.
The joy of retail is you're always about 4 to 6 months ahead of what's going on. It's not as bad as other areas, adult, that you're a little more sane. But you just take a look at what has sold, and how can we get an item that's better than what's sold in the past?
Okay.
We're mainly looking at this point for improvement. And then there's been times when we get an item and it sells, and then it hits a brick wall. We're
really?
And we don't know why. I mean, it was a spectacular item. It's still a spectacular item, but that's the vagaries of retail sometimes could just drive you insane. And I don't care whether it's a widget, a bowling ball, or a butt plug. The same rules apply.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Retail clothing, you can hear that story over and over again, with all of a sudden this was hotter than all get out. And now it's all sitting on the rack marked down 75%. But what does happen to the out of favor sex toys at Fantasy Gifts?
Well, like all retail, I carry, I don't carry as much in stock as we used to. You just don't want to be sitting on something anymore. Okay, that sounds really bad. You just don't. So we are, we do pay much closer attention to what we have in stock. Mm-hmm. And if it gets to a point, we will mark it down and put it on a table. Although with 9 stores, there's usually a store that particular item is doing well in.
Interesting.
And so lucky that I can move stuff over to a store where this was a really popular item over at this store.
Yeah.
And not so much over here. And then the same thing, we move stuff around. We have the lovely advantage of that.
Yeah, that is nice.
Especially for lingerie. Because you just have no idea what's going to catch people's eye. You don't buy the same 9 outfits for all 9 stores. There's different personalities. Things are going around. And then you end up with a whole bunch of smalls. You don't want that.
Right.
You end up with 2 smalls and a 3X. What am I supposed to do with that? And at that point, they will get marked down.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Which makes perfect and complete sense. So any other reports from Tara in LA that with regard to the LA buying show? Because I'm assuming that we can expect a whole bunch of new toys coming in soon. Well, the trend, one of the things that it sounds like they're rediscovering the dildo. Okay. They have focused a lot on smaller vibes and the rabbit vibes and stuff with yours, but you're just your basic dildo or dong. I think that has been neglected for years. We sell them like crazy. We can't keep a lot of them in stock. We have some, and it looks like they're putting more into using the same molds but doing better materials. Okay, so that they're easier to clean. More modern colors. Used to be that everything was either pink or purple. Yeah. And I'm like, they're nice. They're, semi-neutral colors to some extent, purple is. But they're getting into better realistic tones. Really? Stuff like that. And that's one of the things to have a hard time, too, with, because a lot of the companies, I think they're finally joining this century, it would call things flesh tone. And it would be, sort of pale and beige looking. And I'm like, there's 7 billion people out there, and there's a lot of different flesh tones. Yeah. So I was going through sites trying to find the best words, but they're coming. They're just a variety of colors and a variety of tones, whether or not they're fantasy colors like purple and blue and glow in the dark and sparkle, or whether or not they're every skin tone under the world. Okay. So I think that's what they're improving on right now is the dildos. Dildos. Okay. Mm-hmm. And, one of the questions that I've had about those, because, if you go and you see them in a store, I would have to say, if I can be intimidated, that would be one thing that is probably the hardest. A vibrator feels so much more mainstream than a dildo. So what do you think of, are there going to need to be some walls broken down regarding the comeback of the dildo? Well, like I said, I've been having a difficult. The ones we carry, I'm very proud of the lines we carry, and they're very popular. And I'm looking forward to getting new ones because I really don't think the majority of Minnesotans are having a difficult time with their dildo purchase. So I'm just uptight. Or it could have been that only the bombshells were left, and those are pretty big. Yeah. But yeah, we do carry a wide variety of sizes. Okay. And I would say that probably the 5-inch ones probably do sell a lot better than the 10-inch ones. Aha! Aha. Well, that should be hope for men everywhere. Yeah, I know. How do I respond to that without being catty? I don't. Well, then we'll go ahead and just take a break. We're going to talk some S&M. We're going to bring in some more of the great Fantasy Gifts team. We're going to talk about home parties at one point today and our next show, too. We've got Michael coming up in the next week. A lot of great stuff. We're going to be bringing more and more of the team members in to join the conversation because let's just be honest, you've got some really fun people around here. I've got some great people, and for the most part, they know what's going on. And when Tara gets back, will she come in and tell us tales from the show? I hope so. Okay. Either that or she'll feed me a lot of notes. We'll see how it's going through there. Well, I want to see a sparkly butt plug.
Oh, I'm sure we can manage that. If not if not the next few shows, they'll be in.
And we'll turn off the lights and check out the glow-in-the-dark ones and test it right here.
Oh, when we get glow-in-the-dark stuff in, we have, in fact, I'll run into the kitchen area and turn off the lights.
And close the door. Because that's like an interior room here.
Yep.
Are they pretty good?
When we did have some of the vibrators, they really did glow.
Okay.
And same with the condoms. We're like, oh, do these actually glow? Are they FDA approved? Because there were a lot of novelty ones.
Sure.
But they tend to, no one tends to want to pay what it really costs to get an FDA approved glow in the dark condom. It sounds funny until you have to drop a lot of money on them. I believe we found some that were reasonably priced. I'd have to look into that. See, this is why I have my employees, because they're smarter than me.
No, you're just too busy running the show around here, Colleen Bertino. You are listening to the Great Northern Sexcast.